Dear followers of my scientific language book, Human Language Evolution, as co-framed by behavioral or psychological universalisms, I don't have at hand here a copy of the book, but you will find it on my other YouTube videos and also on Facebook and on the Amazon homepage. Here I wanted to give you some insights into the psychological backgrounds I found for many languages, and which I found were also represented in totally unexpected languages. When I came across Khmer, for instance, an Austroasiatic language from Cambodia, I found of my 3 or 4 semantic fields for the semi-consonant W, I found around 70% of the entries in a dictionary, in an extensive dictionary of Khmer, was matching my hypotheses on the semantic fields of the semi-consonant W, and I formed different semantic fields. It were 34, although I have to say here, after working more on this subject with the database darling.renet.ru, which is headed by George Sorostin and is headed by American and Russian scientists, and it's really a wonderful database for long-range etymologists. It's a tremendous work and it's incredibly well done. And after consulting more of these long-range etymologies and also other databases on language families, I found that there are more semantic fields which could be formed, and also some side fields. So if we, for instance, say that the deictic root in many languages, the pointing to direction, though similar terms, are mostly covered by the first initial consonant being a alveolar D or T, where the tip of the tongue points towards the object. So we find some parallel and minor subfields where the demonstrative pronoun, which is also this or there in many languages, so the subfield will be with S as in Sam, where the direction of the tongue is almost towards the alveoli, but there is continuation movements involved in this durative consonant S, and so this is a side view of the T framework we get usually in languages. And so here I would like to go to the database darling.renet.ru and only take one example. I found around several dozens or 100 even examples matching my language theory here from the long-range etymologies, which are heading toward proto-word roots. So if we combine both approaches here, this more inductive by the current linguists, and also the rather deductive from the psychological backgrounds, which I also chose, we see that there is a match here, And so for instance here one root in many languages, in many Nostratic languages and also Borean languages, for to scatter, to sift, which is also in English very meaningful with the S. I define the S as being a scattering sound where the airflow scatters around the tip of the tongue and thus is a pointer towards sandy, seedy structures which are easily scattered or to be sifted with a sift. And we found here this root S as in Sam and then a vowel and then maybe a small consonant or a ch and another W for Eurasiatic, and also here for Afroasiatic we find S and then a vowel and then ch for filter and sprinkle in Berber and Chadic languages. And in Sino-Caucasian, in Proto-Eastern Caucasian we find ch, a, ch vowel, which is a sieve, and here the ch is somewhat more palatalized, but also here we see affiliation towards the sibilant S or the palatalized sh. Of course, in many more languages we would find similar roots for scattering and sifting, also in other language families, and so it's a hard work here to really get together all the related roots, but this is surely a good attempt here, and we will go into Eurasiatic and see what it has to say here. So to scatter in Borean, Borean is a subgroup, though it's an overterminus for Eurasiatic plus other language phylum. So we have an Indo-European Hittite, Caesarea to filter to strain, or Cesaru the sieve. And we have an Altaic Secho or Shecho, which is to scatter, to pour out. Rasipat, Razlivat in Russian. So in Turkic, the family of the Turkish languages, it's such for to scatter, to spatter, to sow. Really here covering again the whole semantic field that I wanted to show. And we have in many Turkish languages, it's around 20 here. We have such, shash, chach, ish for these semantic significances. Then in Mongolian, which is also related of course to Turkish, we have Satu and Chachu for to scatter, to sow, to spatter. For instance, Buryat has Sasa. Then in Tungus Manchu, in the Tungusic languages, Sheshe, also here for to scatter, to spatter. In Ebenki we have, for instance, Chichewe. In Negidal we have Seseksen, to flow, to stream. It's really very interesting here. Then in Korean we have Chachai. Korean is already quite distant in the Altaic tree, and for some researchers is even only a Sprachbund, but here in the linguistic database of Sergei Starostin, we see ample evidence that Korean and also Japanese seem to belong to the Macro-Altaic group. Here, chachai is to sneeze, which might also be a dispersing airflow, chichat in Russian, and then this might be a good match here, and then sisik in Japanese means to pour, which is also a dispersive movement, so maybe also belong to this group here. At Old Japanese is swovok, Middle Japanese sosok, and Tokyo dialect sosok, to pour. So this was our tour we took